Sometimes it feels like you're falling behind, like you've missed your chance, taken the wrong path, or lost your way. But what belongs in your life doesn't disappear because of a detour. Trust that not everything is happening on your timeline. It's happening on the right timeline. Keep moving forward. Keep faith in the journey, because what's genuinely meant for you is already making its way toward you. And before you go, here's something worth remembering. Trying to manage how other people see you is a full-time job that pays absolutely nothing. No matter how careful you are, no matter how much you explain yourself, someone will still misunderstand you. Someone will see only a small piece of your story and think they know the whole thing. And the more energy you spend trying to control people's opinions, the less energy you have to actually live your life. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need everyone to approve of you. You just need to be honest with yourself. Because the moment you stop performing for other people's expectations is the moment you start feeling free. Here's a fascinating study that was just completed. Any person who is the recipient of an act of kindness has their serotonin levels increased just because they received an act of kindness. And their immune system is strengthened because they received this dose of kindness. That's the recipient. And if you are the provider of an act of kindness towards anyone, but particularly towards the people that you're close to in your life, and particularly towards strangers, with just a smile, the serotonin levels in you are increased to the same degree that they are in the receiver. And so is your immune system strengthened. You want to strengthen your immune system? Be kind. Because this is what blows me away about it. The observer of an act of kindness. The observer of an act of kindness has their serotonin levels increased and their immune system strengthened. Just because they're in the energy field of someone who is displaying kindness. When you see someone being kind to another person, it's like a dose of an antidepressant. Most people underestimate the power of kindness, but research continues to show something remarkable. When someone receives an act of kindness, their body responds in a positive way. Their mood improves, their stress levels can decrease, and even their overall well-being may benefit. But here's what's even more interesting. The person giving the kindness experiences many of the same benefits: a simple smile, a thoughtful gesture, a few encouraging words. These small actions don't just help someone else, they help you too. And the effect doesn't stop there. Even people who simply witness kindness can be impacted by it. Watching one person help another can create feelings of warmth, connection, and hope. That's why kindness is so powerful. It spreads beyond the moment, beyond the people directly involved. Sometimes the smallest act can positively affect far more people than you'll ever realize. Just don't forget, every day you live, you make a difference. You matter. You're here for a reason. Find the reason and do your bit. Never underestimate the impact of your existence. Every single day your actions affect someone. Your words matter. Your presence matters. Your life has purpose, even when you can't fully see it yet. Keep searching for what gives your life meaning. And when you find it, give it your best. Because the world is changed by ordinary people who choose to show up and contribute. As long as your body is healthy, you have thousands of problems. But the moment your body gets sick, you have one problem. That's really true. So this is why, before tackling everything else, before thinking about how to build your life or how to achieve more, make sure your body stays healthy. If the body is not healthy, you don't need to worry about anything else, because your health becomes the priority. So, respect your body, take care of your body, love your body, nourish your body, nourish yourself in such a way that you understand it's something very, very precious to have. Most people don't fully appreciate their health until it's gone. When you're healthy, your mind is busy thinking about goals, money, relationships, success, the future. But when your health is compromised, everything else suddenly moves to the background because nothing feels more important than getting well again. That's why taking care of your body isn't a luxury. It's a responsibility. Your body carries you through every challenge, every opportunity, and every stage of life. Treat it with respect. Feed it well. Let it rest. Move it often, because the quality of your life is deeply connected to the way you care for your health. Never take that gift for granted. You can practice and do with the body whatever you like. But don't forget, this body is something that you only have temporarily. So if you base your quality of life, if you base your whole sense of being on this body, at some point you will have to face the fact that you're going to lose it. But the great value of all of these ancient teachings is that they remind you of something important. You are not this body. Right now you possess this body. You should take care of this body, but it is not what you are in essence. Take care of your body, strengthen it, nourish it, respect it, but don't confuse it with who you are. The body is a vehicle, a temporary home that carries you through this life. And one day, every person must face the reality that the body changes, it ages, it weakens, and eventually it returns to the earth. That's why many ancient traditions teach the same lesson. Your deepest identity is not your appearance, not your age, not your physical form. Those things are part of your experience. But they are not the entirety of who you are. When you understand that, you stop living in fear of every wrinkle, every change, and every passing year, and you begin to appreciate the body without becoming imprisoned by it. Sit with yourself and do nothing. At first it feels uncomfortable, but then something starts to shift. Most people are trying to fix the world around them. Self-mastery is different. It's about learning to understand yourself. Your mind has been so busy, so distracted, that you've lost connection with your own inner clarity. The real challenge is not fighting the world. It's learning not to fight yourself. Because every thought creates emotion, and every emotion influences the body. The more aware you become, the more you begin to understand who you really are. Come back to yourself. Stop outsourcing your peace. You are the foundation. And the journey home begins the moment you return to yourself. Want to know why so many people feel lost? Because they're constantly distracted, always scrolling, always reacting, always looking outside themselves for answers. But self-mastery begins in silence, when you sit alone with your thoughts, without needing entertainment, validation, or distraction. That's where awareness grows. That's where healing begins. The goal isn't to control the world. The goal is to understand yourself, to notice your thoughts, your emotions, your patterns, and slowly return to the person you were before the noise took over. Because everything changes when you stop running from yourself and finally come home. The emotions you carry hurt you before anyone else. There's a story of a warrior consumed by envy and rage. He hides a burning coal inside his robes, planning to throw it at the one he resents. But as he carries it, the coal ignites. Before it ever leaves his hand, it burns him. You see, the harm you carry reaches you first. Before envy harms another, it hurts you first. It tightens your chest. It creates stress. Before resentment wounds anyone else, it hardens your own breath. We think emotions are weapons that we can aim outward, but they live in us first. This is why practice matters. Yoga, mindfulness, meditation. They don't tell you what emotions to have. They don't deny your experience. but they teach you to notice those emotions early, clearly, before they turn inward and cause damage. What you hold on to inevitably shapes what you become. Most people don't realize this. The emotions you refuse to release are often hurting you more than anyone else. Anger, resentment, jealousy, bitterness. We think we're carrying them because of someone else. But while we're holding on, those emotions are shaping us. They steal our peace. They drain our energy. They keep our mind trapped in the past. It's like carrying a burning coal and expecting someone else to get burned. The longer you hold it, the more damage it does to you. That's why self-awareness matters. Not because you'll never feel negative emotions, but because you'll recognize them before they take control. Healing begins when you stop feeding what hurts you and start letting it go. Most people believe they would do the right thing when it really matters. But there's a study that shows something surprising. Students were asked to walk across a campus to give a talk. Some were even preparing to speak about compassion. On the way, each student passed someone who appeared injured and needed help. The researchers found something interesting. The students who were told they were late and needed to hurry mostly walked right past. Not because they didn't care, not because they lacked values, but because they were rushed, they were stressed. The students who weren't in a hurry were far more likely to stop and help. So the difference wasn't morality, it wasn't intention, it was pace. When we're constantly busy, we don't lose our values, we lose access to them. Busyness narrows awareness. That's why mindfulness teaches us to slow down, not just to relax, but to become more available to life. Here's something most people never consider. Being a good person isn't only about what you believe, it's also about how you live. In one famous study, students were on their way to give a presentation. Some were even talking about kindness and compassion. Along the way, they encountered a person who appeared to need help. The result was unexpected. The students who felt rushed were far less likely to stop. Not because they were selfish, not because they lacked empathy, but because stress had narrowed their attention. They were so focused on where they needed to be that they couldn't fully see what was right in front of them. That's the hidden cost of constantly rushing through life. When your mind is overloaded, your awareness shrinks. And sometimes, slowing down isn't about doing less. It's about becoming present enough to notice what truly matters. This quote from the Buddha changed my day. When someone asked him, "What is the biggest mistake we make in life?" the Buddha replied, "We think we have time. So we wait. We wait to start. We wait to change. We wait to say what matters. We wait to live fully. But life doesn't wait. Time keeps moving, with or without you. Don't waste your life waiting, because one day you'll realize that time was the one thing you could never get back." A quote often attributed to the Buddha completely changed the way I look at life. Someone once asked him, "What is humanity's greatest mistake?" His answer was simple. We believe there's always more time, and because of that, we delay. We postpone our dreams. We put off important conversations. We wait for the perfect moment to change, to grow, and to truly live. But time never pauses. It keeps moving forward every single day, whether you're ready or not. That's why you shouldn't spend your life waiting. Eventually you'll discover that time is the one thing no one can ever recover once it's gone. I don't care who's doing better than me. I'm not competing with anyone else, Each one of us is running our own race. The only competition that really matters to me is who I am today versus who I was yesterday. Have I grown? Have I learned? Have I improved? If the answer is yes, then I'm winning. So I keep reminding myself, it's not me versus them. It's me versus me. I don't spend my time comparing myself to other people. Everyone is on a different path, moving at their own pace. That's why I don't measure my success against someone else's. The only person I compare myself to is the person I used to be. Am I stronger than yesterday? Am I wiser than before? Am I becoming better every day? If I can honestly say yes, then I'm making progress. And that's all that matters, because life isn't about competing with others. The real challenge is becoming a better version of yourself. The way people treat you is a reflection of how they see you, and the way you allow people to treat you is a reflection of how you see yourself. So whether people treat you with respect or disrespect, kindness or indifference, a big part of that is in your hands. Because the standards you set teach others how to treat you. The behavior people show toward you often reveals their perception of you, but what you choose to accept from others reveals something even more important: how you value yourself. Your boundaries, your standards, and what you're willing to tolerate all send a message. That's why the way others treat you isn't completely out of your control. The respect you expect starts with the respect you have for yourself. What is meant for you will find you, and what is not meant for you, no matter how hard you chase it, will eventually leave. If a person, an opportunity, or a dream is truly yours, it will return in the right way, at the right time. I used to look back at certain years and think they were wasted. The time, the energy, the sacrifices. But now I ask a different question. What was life preparing me for? I almost had opportunities that felt life-changing. But looking back, I wasn't ready. And maybe that's why they didn't happen. Trust the process, the degree that led nowhere, the relationship that didn't last, the opportunity you missed. None of it was wasted. Every experience is shaping you, piece by piece, into the person you're meant to become. Maybe the things you've lost were never meant to stay, and maybe the things meant for you are already finding their way to you. We often regret missed chances and failed relationships. But what if they weren't failures? What if they were preparation? Some opportunities arrive too early, some dreams need time, some lessons can only be learned through experience. So stop calling it wasted time. Nothing is wasted. Every setback, every heartbreak, every detour has a purpose. One day you'll look back and realize life was putting the pieces together all along. This is an uncomfortable truth, but it took me years to understand it. You cannot control what people think or feel about you. No matter what you do, people will form opinions based on almost nothing. A few seconds of interaction, an old photo, something they heard in passing, and you will never have enough information to fully correct those assumptions. So at some point, you have to stop trying. What you can control is whether those opinions influence your decisions, whether you take the job, wear what you want, date someone, or move in a certain direction with your life. The reality is, most people are living their entire lives through an imaginary audience of people who don't even truly know them. And that's where the shift happens. You stop outsourcing your life to imagined judgment. The only real question is whether you let those opinions stop you from building the life you actually want. There's a hard truth most people learn too late. You will never be able to control how you're perceived. People decide who you are in seconds. A glance, a story, a fragment of information, and a narrative is already formed. And no matter how much effort you put in, you'll never fully overwrite it. At some point you realize the exhausting part isn't being misunderstood. It's trying to fix every misunderstanding. So the real power shift is this. You stop giving other people's opinions authority over your choices. You can't control what they think, but you can control whether you obey it, whether you go after the opportunity, whether you express yourself, whether you live the life you actually want. Most people are stuck performing for an invisible audience that doesn't even exist in their real life. Freedom starts when you stop editing yourself for people who aren't even in the room. Let them think what they think. The only thing that matters is whether you keep moving anyway. At some point, you just have to make a decision. You're back. Whatever happened before happened, whether it was a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, or even a bad year. It's in the past now. You can't change it. You can't go back and redo it, but you can decide what happens next. So stop carrying the weight of what you didn't do and focus on what you can do right now. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking about the entire journey. Just ask yourself one simple question. What's the next right step? Then take it. And after that, take the next one. That's how you get back on track. Maybe today is the day you stop looking backward. Not because the past didn't matter, but because there's nothing left to do with it. The mistakes happened. The setbacks happened. The days you promised yourself you'd start and didn't. They're gone. What matters now is the decision you make in this moment. A decision to begin again. Not perfectly, not all at once, just one step at a time. Forget the pressure of fixing everything overnight. Focus only on the next action that's in front of you, because progress doesn't come from thinking about the future. It comes from taking the next step and then taking another. What is meant for you will always find its way to you, no matter how lost, confused, or uncertain you feel right now. Trust the process, take a breath, relax. Not everything needs to make sense today. Life has a way of bringing the right things together at the right time, and in the end, what is truly meant for you won't miss you. One of the most exhausting things you can do is spend your life trying to control how you're perceived. It's a never-ending game. No matter what you do, some people will admire you, some will misunderstand you, and some will judge you without knowing you at all. That's just reality. So why dedicate your life to winning approval from people who have already made up their minds? Imagine how much peace you'd have if you stopped editing yourself for everyone else. If you stopped over-explaining, stopped trying to prove your worth, stopped worrying about every opinion that crosses your path. Because freedom begins when you realize that your job isn't to manage other people's perceptions. Your job is to live in alignment with who you truly are, and that's more than enough.